Monday, June 4th, 2018, Maneco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Looking at the markets as usual, I also want to talk about financial collapse, Armageddon, and why people should not concern themselves with that. Not try to... Sometimes I look at comments and people saying, oh, we're going to collapse, everything is going to implode, Deutsche Bank. Yes, of course, there are a lot of things that could happen wrong. And we had an almost implosion in 2008. The system was within hours from completely imploding. I think people should be aware of it, that nothing has been done to fix it. But people should go on with their lives and try to do the right thing and just prepare themselves. Some people say, oh, it's frustrating. Why hasn't it collapsed already? Well, maybe you should count your blessings. Just keep preparing yourself, keep learning about the system, try to get out of the system as much as possible. Excuse me, that's what I've done. It's not healthy, I don't think, to keep thinking about those things. In spite of that, I'm going to look at a few interesting articles and one video that I found on DTube by someone called Flauwy, Flauwy, where he talks about 2018, the year of financial collapse, question mark. Not even he knows. He talks about the Economist cover, 1988. He talks about astrology, something I don't look at. But the interesting thing he talks about is the number 11. Because number 11, according to him, is very important to the powers that be. So like a sacred number. And he gives us a date for this year, which is quite interesting. And I want to talk about as well how the Petro Yuan is going. A lot of people ask me, so how is the Petro Yuan? Well, you know, the Chinese Yuan oil futures contract, and what I think is happening in terms of all the trade war rhetoric. Not Bush, but Trump is getting very unpopular with other world leaders, other countries, and what I think is actually really happening, why that's so. So first of all, let's look at the markets. It's 10 to 9 a.m. London. So we've got spot gold is just down about 50 cents at 12.93. Range has been 12.90 to 12.95 roughly. Silver is up 2 cents, 16.42. The range has been 16.35 to 16.44. 45, sorry. The Dow up 82 points, or 1/3% at 24,710. S&P up 7, or 1/4% at 2740. And the NASDAQ 100 futures up 25 actually, or 1/3%. Currency-wise, the dollar index is actually down almost 1/3%. It's back down below 94. It's at 93.89. So the dollar is weakened a little bit here overnight. The pound is up 17 pips, 133.65. Just up above 0.1%. The euro is up 1/3, 117.02, up 44. So euro continues to recover. Italian yields are continuing to drop a bit. It seems like the crisis for now has been kind of averted in Europe. The dollar is unchanged against the yen, 109.50. So that's and the oil price is also unchanged. It's at 65.80, and 10-year yield in the U.S. is up 1 basis point at 2.92. So it looks like we're creeping back towards that 3 again. We did drop below to around 2.75 last week when all hell was breaking loose out in Italy. The yeah, the Italian yield, I can tell you exactly, is at 259 right now, so down 10 basis points. Don't forget, we got up to 344 last week. The JP Morgan article, I saw that over the weekend, and it makes you wonder, especially with what's going on with Trump, how he's making a lot of people upset, not even, his supposed allies in Europe, with all the rhetoric of trade wars. Mattis as well, Department of Defense, or Department of War, if you want to call it, making comments about China. But now JP Morgan says, and I quote from the Zero Hedge article, JP Morgan's stunning conclusion, an Italian exit may be Rome's best option. So even JP Morgan, are they giving Italy the green light? They're actually saying that Italy has done quite a few things in the last few years that would make it, wouldn't cost them much to get out of the euro. It would, and they note that Spain is the country that would really get hurt if they did leave the euro. So that's out there. I'll put the link below in the description to that article. The video on DTube, I'll put the link to it as well. I'm not sure if I can put that in the cards. I'll try, but it's not a YouTube video, it's DTube. So it's by a guy called Flauwy, Flauwy. He sounds German, but it looks like he's somewhere out in Asia, and he lives in a small farm, so he seems to be well prepared. He grows his own food and everything, and the title of the video is 2018, the year of financial collapse, question mark. The Economist cover, 1988, Uranus and Taurus, and master number 11, Deutsche Bank breakdown, government debts. So he also notes this is just like a possibility. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but we need to be aware of it. By the way, before I start with what he said about the dates in the video, Deutsche Bank this morning is up 2.8%. It's at 9 euros 66, so it's back up a little bit, Deutsche Bank. So what does Flauwy talk about in his videos in terms of the dates? If you want to watch this video, I recommend it. I'll just talk about the date. I thought it was interesting. So he talks about astrology, and something happened in November, but then he notes that it's right close to the 11th of November 2018. So 11/11, of course, and then 2018. Why is that? Would that be important? Well, because if you add 208, 201 and 8, you get 11. So he's wondering, is that an important date? November 11th, 2018. That's all the 11s together. I mean, we have other events that especially 9/11, of course, that happened, and he notes that this is a sacred number for, if you want to call the New World Order or Illuminati. So that's an interesting point there. As I said before, we need to keep going. Maybe will the collapse happen suddenly? If it does, it will be very disruptive. Do we really want that? Not really, but are we prepared? We should be. If you yesterday when I made my live stream, someone made a comment and they said the best thing to do, I think it was someone in India, to be prepared and to get out of the system is to, number one, to save your money, work hard. Number two, buy gold and silver as much as possible, and get out of debt as well. So that's what I've been trying to do, and try to invest in yourself. Do what you're good at. Do what you believe in. Yeah, that's what I recommend. And don't buy into all the propaganda. So don't watch the television and the programming. Yeah, stick to the fundamentals and learn as much as you can about how the system is really screwed up. Our monetary system is not stable, and for that I recommend a couple of books. The most important one, I think, the best book to read to understand what money really is, not only in the US but all over the world, is this one here, What Has Government Done to Our Money, by Murray Rothbard. He goes on to explain what money really is. He does the Austrian school regression analysis of money, how we started out bartering and exchanging things, and then we found that there's some goods or commodities that are the most marketable ones that anyone will take for anything, and that becomes money. And of course, it's not only been gold and silver, but we've had salt, cattle, or livestock, cigarettes that have been money, shells. And he explains how government has hijacked money. That's what they've done. And what we need to do as individuals, maybe to try to fight that. And the other one as well, which is a classic in my opinion, is The Creature from Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffin, where he explains part of the hijacking, what they used to hijack people's money, not only in the US but all over the world. And that's through the creation of a central bank, which we all know is not like a free market or a capitalist institution, even though people associate what we have now with capitalism. And it's far from true, in my opinion. So there you go. Yeah, I know I said we shouldn't worry about collapse, but maybe November 11th, something will happen. But it's always tricky trying to predict dates. The ETHEREUM, I said I was going to talk about it. Yeah, I think that's another, this has been done by design. And it's not only the Chinese. You think, oh yeah, the Chinese want to challenge the dollar. Maybe the Chinese learned from 2008, where they had a lot of money invested in, like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. The system almost went bust. And they've been doing this maybe together with the Americans, for public consumption. We think there's a trade war, a lot of conflict between the US and China and the allies, but maybe this, what the Americans actually, how can I say, advise the Chinese to do, advise them to open an exchange to trade the oil also in yuan, or this is a fallback. So an update on this contract. I mean, it's been open for just over 2 months. It's been trading over the futures contract at the International Energy Exchange in Shanghai. Today, for example, it's traded 202,000 contracts, the September contract. So yeah, it's going really well. Open interest for September is 31,000. The other months are still, they're still not really active. But that's normal. Once September comes along, people will roll over their positions in September, or they'll take the delivery. So yeah, that's going well. And we heard as well that the LME, which is now Hong Kong owned, which is the biggest base metals, industrial metals exchange in the world, London Metals Exchange, they're looking to also list contracts in yuan. So, and again, people, this is not the collapse of the dollar. This is just that the dollar will not be as important. And it doesn't happen overnight. I've made several videos out there. One that I recommend is, what does March 26 mean, for the petro-yuan or the petrodollar? And it's a really popular video. So listen to that and see what I think and what my opinion is. So that's it for now. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on Twitter, DTube, Steemit, and I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.